My TBR jar, yo, solo, buy it. I'm mainly really excited to read this. Also have Iron Flame, me right here. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya, and this video is part 2 of my entire TBR video and making my TBR jar. I kind of explained why I wanted to make that super long TBR video in the last video, so I'm not really going to get into too much detail on this one. The first video was just a bunch of books that I owned and just have not read that were just like on my shelf that I did plan on reading. And then this part 2 of that video is the books that I definitely plan on reading this year and that I'm really excited to read because they technically are still part of my TBR. So yeah, these books are for sure books that I know I will be reaching for this year or that I'm definitely anticipating to read this year. I was kind of debating on whether I wanted to put them in the jar because I know that I'm definitely like going to be reaching for them, but I think I just might put them in here. Yeah, I'm gonna put them in here just because I do plan on doing a video where I pick books from the jar and I read them. I want to possibly pick the books from here, and then I think if I pull it later on and I've already read it, then I'll just throw the paper away. I feel like this video is definitely a lot shorter than the last video. So with that being said, I'm definitely going to talk about an artist that I really do love. I don't really want to wear the shirt for the entire video, so I'm just gonna cut that into this and then we'll like officially get into the book. So hope you enjoy the next segment. The artist I'm going to be talking about is Inhaler. I feel like I've mentioned them maybe in a video before, but they are one of my favorite bands. They are from Ireland, Dublin, Ireland. I got this shirt from one of their shows. Like I said, when I wanted to do this segment, I'm gonna wear a piece of merch for each artist. This is kind of what it looks like. It have their face. That's Josh, Ryan, Elijah, and Bobby. The shirt's really cute. It's a little different, and I love the way like the drawing on it was. I literally love this shirt. I don't think I'll ever cut it because I have a really bad habit of cutting like concert shirts because I'm like, I don't really wear them a lot, but I want to start wearing them a lot more. I think I might. I love this shirt too much. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. So the way I found out about this band is kind of really funny, or at least I think it's funny. It's been a while. It was definitely 2020 or 2021. I was definitely going through eating different things, and at the time I was vegan. I don't remember why I became vegan at the time, but I was vegan for like a couple months. And one of my favorite foods is burgers, so I wanted to find a good vegan burger place, and I found one in downtown LA, and I dragged my sister. So we parked our car. There was like a poster on the wall of like their very first album. At the time it was like their very first album that was coming out. I'll put a picture up somewhere, and it's called It Won't Always Be Like This. It hadn't come out yet, but it was supposed to be coming out in like the next couple days. So I thought one of the guys on the poster was Timothée Chalamet. At the time I was obsessed with Timothée Chalamet, so I thought it was him, and I looked closer and I realized it wasn't him. And then me and my sister were like, wait, this poster looks kind of cool, let's look them up. And we started listening to them, and they didn't even have that many songs out yet. They just had a couple. I think like some of them were like 3 singles or 2 singles that were going to be on the album that they pre-released. And to this day we've been like huge fans. Now it's been like 3 years. It's been about like 3 years, maybe 4. I don't remember. They're one of my favorite bands ever. I've been listening to them for so long. And another reason why I want to talk about them is because they just released a brand new album. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and it's called Open Wide. I need to get into it a little more. I have officially sat down and listened to it from beginning to end, and I'm not really sure if I want to give my huge opinion on it right now because we'll be here all day. But I really did like it. It's definitely a different sound than what I'm used to hearing from them. They're definitely normally like indie rock, and I love all their indie rock sound to them. But this one's definitely more poppy. So it's gonna take me a little bit of time to get used to it. But I love them so much. My very first concert seeing them was at the Troubadour, and this was like a little bit after their first album released, and I barely knew them that much, but I knew I liked their music enough to go to their concert, and I got to meet them that night. It was literally so freaking cool. That was probably one of the best concerts I've ever been to. One of my favorite concerts, hands down. And like I said in my introducing me video, I go to a lot of concerts. I don't really have a lot lined up this year because money's kind of funny right now, but that. I will definitely get back into going to see concerts, and I'm for sure anytime they come in town, I definitely always see them. Songs that I love by them that I recommend. Most popular is for sure It Won't Always Be Like This. That entire album is so good from top to bottom. Their album after that, Cuts and Bruises, is also really good from top to bottom. Popular songs are I love Ice Cream Sundae. That one's a little poppy. And some of my favorites are My King Will Be Kind. I also recommend The Things I Do off of Cuts and Bruises. And what's another one that I really, really love? In My Sleep. Oh, I just realized they're the band that I pulled like a money bookmark and their like name and face was on it. And they have a song called Who's Your Money On. That's why the person threw money into the crowd and I laminated it and I showed it in the last video as a bookmark. Who's Your Money On is another song that I love by them. My Honest Face, I would say, is one of their most popular and I love that one. And Dublin and Ecstasy. Chef's Kiss. So yeah, if you want to get into them, those are the songs I recommend. And stream Open Wide if you want to. I'm gonna stream it. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and now let's officially get into the books. Okay, I got my drink again. I have the jar here that I'm gonna start dropping papers into, and let's get into the first book. First book I have right here is my sister's book, but she has been raving about it so much, and it's Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I have heard mostly good about this book. I haven't heard any bad. I've only heard that it's really, really good. So of course I want to read it. I decided to talk about this book first because I genuinely think this is the first book that I will pick up after I finish the Hunger Games series, because I said in my last video that I was going to read the Hunger Games series. I'm really excited to read this one. My sister raves about it. One of my favorite YouTubers raved about it. I know it's a vampire and werewolf love story, so that should be really fun to read. I've only read one other book by Ali Hazelwood, which was The Love Hypothesis, and I really liked that one. I did read that a really long time ago, so her writing could be different. I don't know, but I am really excited to read this one. Let's add that one to the jar. First book going into the jar for this video. I don't think that will ever get old. That's so satisfying. Next book I have is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I have also heard mainly only good about this book. I don't really read a lot of memoirs, and I know this is a nonfiction book about the author's life. I'm kind of going into it as a book that will probably give me some insight on life and advice. From what I've heard, I know it's about like a book about her dating life. Also, I've heard it's a book about finding the love when it comes to platonic friendships, especially your girl friendship. So I'm really excited to read about that. I have next is The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Like I said in my last video, I did read Six of Crows and I really loved that book. I've heard mainly good about this book. Some said it was overhyped, but like I said before, and I'll keep saying it, I love coming up with my own opinions, especially when it comes to books, and then especially TikTok books. And I feel like this is a book that definitely blew up on TikTok. A plane and the dogs coming in together, huh? Once again, I'm sorry for the background noise. Oh gosh. Jesus, I had to take a little break there because there was just too much background noise. Anyway, like I was saying, I bought this book a while ago. It's definitely been over a year since I've had this book, and I've just never read it. It's been sitting on my shelf, and it's definitely a book that I've always wanted to grab, and I don't know why I've just never grabbed it. So this year, I'm definitely going to try to read it. Next book is Flawless by Elsie Silver. This book was in one of my TikTok book hauls. I also bought this the day of my solo Barnes & Noble Date Day, like a couple other books that are in both of these videos. I have just heard so much about this series and I really, really want to read it. So that's why I bought this book. I haven't had this book for that long. I for sure knew this book was going to be in this portion, part 2 of the video, because I know I'm for sure going to read it this year. I know it's like a cowboy romance. That should be fun to read because I've never read anything to do with like Western or like cowboys. My sister has already read it and she said she liked it. The next couple of books I'm going to show are romance books, because I said in my last video that I was in a romance bend for a little bit. A lot of the books that I showed in part 1 were books that I bought when I was in that romance bend and just never got around to reading it. But I feel like this year is definitely going to be my romance year because I really want to read more romance. I feel that it's been a while since I just read a lot. So this year, I just want to read a lot more. I feel like I need something that's super cute, cheesy romance very romance driven, and that's what I'm looking for this year. I'm looking for a very good, possibly 5-star romance book this year. If you have any recommendations, please let me know. The first book I'm going to show is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I've heard only good about this book. I know it's connected to, I think, 2 other books. This one, Part of Your World, and then I forget what the other one is. I also really want to read Just for the Summer by her because that book I heard was really good, and I feel like I want to read her other books before I read that one. I haven't bought that one yet though. I heard this was a really cute romance and that it has a lot of yearning, and that's honestly what I really want to read right now. So that's why I picked up this book. I haven't had it for that long and I'm really excited to read it this year, and I know I will reach for it. Next up is Mile High by Liz Tomford. I got this as a gift for my birthday last year. So it's been a while since I've had it, but I haven't had it for way too long. My birthday's in April, just coming up. So I got it last year in April. I've heard really good things about the series, which is the Mile High series, or I'm not sure what the entire series is called. I'm really excited to read this one because, like I said, I want to read more romance this year, more than I normally do. Once again, I'm going into most of these books, practically all these books, blind, so I'm not really sure what they're about. I just know the gist of like the main thing about them, and I know this is like a sports romance. There's multiple books. I'm not really sure what sport they play. This says hockey, so I'm assuming all the books are hockey, but I honestly have no idea. And I will find out because I'm for sure going to reach for this book this year. Hopefully I like it enough to pick up the other ones, but I'm pretty sure I will. Next is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I'm really excited to read this book. I've mentioned that I love Beach Read by her. I've also read Book Lovers and People We Meet on Vacation, but I also mentioned that I did not like People We Meet on Vacation. I thought that book was very boring. But I heard they're making it into a movie, and I think the plot of the book is really good for a movie, so maybe I'll like the movie better. I really liked Book Lovers. I bought this when I went to that hardcover sale at Barnes, and I was looking for Happy Place, but they didn't have it. But then I saw this one, and I was like, why not? This year I just want to read more of her books, and possibly just all of her books that she has published, because everyone loves Emily Henry, and I feel like I need to jump on the train. And I've usually only heard good about her besides what I said about People We Meet on Vacation. But then again, I've heard people say they don't like Beach Read. They like People We Meet on Vacation better than Beach Read. And I'm like, there's no way. That is an opinion that I cannot get behind and will not support. But stay tuned for me to read more of her books, because I for sure want to go back and get Happy Place, because I want to read that one really bad. I haven't really been showing you guys, but this is Funny Story. Dropping it in there. Next book is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I hope I'm saying her name right. I also got this as a gift. I got this from the same close friend that bought me Mile High. I've heard it's like a romance. Well, it says romantic and irresistible on the front, but I also heard it's a little bit different from a romance. I can just already tell by the title that there's probably going to be like time jumps, and I'm not really a huge time jump fan, so I don't know. But oh, it shows that she like travels in time. That should be fun to read. I don't know what it's about at all. So once again, I'm going in blind. I am excited to read this one. I've heard mainly good. Next book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. I've heard only good things about her books. I know she has a couple of other books that are also really popular. This is also another book that blew up on TikTok that I've just never gotten around to reading, but I did just buy it though. I haven't had it for more than like 2 months. When I was buying it, I was with a friend and she said that she really loved it and she said I should buy it, so that's why I ended up getting it. I also got it the same day of that hardcover sale, but this one wasn't hardcover. It was like buy one get one 50% off. I'm excited to read this one. I heard it's very impactful. I also heard that it's also very depressing and makes you cry. Will I cry? I don't know. Who knows? It says, France 1714, in a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes again. I know that she doesn't age. She probably lives a bunch of lives, so that should be fun to read about. But once again, going in blind, and I'm really excited to read it this year, and I do plan on for sure reading it this year. It's been well overdue. It's been popular for a long time. It's time I finally read it. Next I have Neon Gods by Kate Roberts. A friend is constantly always recommending this book to me, but I know that there is a lot of books attached. I think there's like 6 books out, but she said it's going to be like an 8-book trilogy, so I'm assuming all the books are not out yet. which also intimidates me because that's so many books to get through. But this is the very first one. I also heard it's kind of spicy, unspeakably hot. That's what it says on the very front. I know it has something to do with like Greek gods. This one is about Persephone and Hades. I know a little bit about Greek mythology. I definitely know who Persephone and Hades are. So that should be interesting to read. The only other book I could think of that was Greek mythology related was The Song of Achilles. And I loved that book. But I'm pretty sure this is nothing like that book. But we're still going to read it. I'm actually really excited to. I've said that this year I'm going to read way more romance than I normally do. But I also feel like this is a year of me reading fantasy and romantasy, which is what my sister really loves to read. Some of the books, of course, are hers coming up, but this one is not hers. This one is mine. And it's Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. This year, I just really want to read more fantasy because I don't normally read that at all. The last big fantasy series that I read that I mentioned in the last video was Kingdom of the Feared, and I loved that series, but it was like teen YA, I think. One of my favorite YouTubers said she loved this book and that it was in her top 5-star reads this year, and my sister just finished it, and I haven't even had this book that long. My sister read it already and she really loved it, so I'm excited to read it. I know it has witches. The main character is a witch. There's a witch hunter involved, so that dynamic just sounds really good. It also says it's an enemies to lovers, and it's a romantic fantasy. That alone compelled me to buy it, and I'm really excited to read this one. I would say this is one of my most excited, anticipated reads this year, besides Bride and Funny Story. But I for sure know I'm probably going to read this pretty early on, like right after Bride. Next, I have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I have heard so much discourse and opinions about this book. I want to come up with my own opinion. I keep saying that because it blew up on TikTok, and then I also heard that this author was like copying a lot of writing from another author, and then I heard it was overhyped, and then I heard it was not that good, but I'm still gonna read it. It's kind of thick too. I love the cover. It says, the elites have possessed powers for decades gifted to them by the plague, while those born ordinary are just that, banished from the kingdom of Ilia and shunned from society. No one knows this better than Peyton Gray, an ordinary posing as a psychic to blend in with the elites, but when she unwittingly saves one of Ilia's princes, Kai Azar, she's thrown into the purging trials, a brutal competition showcasing the elite's powers. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for, well, if he discovers what Peyton is, completely ordinary. Wow, that actually does sound really interesting. I heard the banter between them is really good. Also heard the romance is really good too, so this is an exciting read as well. I've had this book for a while too, and I've just never read it. It's been on my shelf and I've always wanted to just pick it up. Next, I have The Serpent of the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, and the second book, which is The Ashes and the Star Cursed King. I'm mainly really excited to read this one because this one I think hasn't been out too long, if I believe so. My sister, and once again one of my favorite YouTubers, raved about this book a lot, so I am really excited to read this one. It's a romantasy once again, and I've mostly heard mainly good about this book. I know it involves vampires and people with powers in general. Dark magic too. Yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. My sister said that the ending's kind of crazy, and that's why she hasn't picked up the second book yet to really get into it. I don't know. What if I love the first one, hate the ending, and then don't want to read the second one? It's kind of worrying, but I'm still going to read it regardless because, like I said, I want to read more fantasy this year, and I'm really excited to read this one. The last book that I'm going to be talking about is a really huge series that blew up, and I really want to read it because it requires a lot of world building, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And then I also have Iron Flame with me right here too. I'm so excited to read these. I've heard good and bad, once again, mainly good. Of course, I've also heard that Fourth Wing is way better than Iron Flame. I'm trying not to think of too many opinions when it comes to this series because this is also a really intimidating one for me because look how thick these books are. And I have said before, I'm not really an incredibly fast reader, so I feel like these books will take me forever to get through. But my sister said that it didn't feel like she was reading a lot, so that's good. I heard that it takes a lot of world building. That's kind of what I want to get into this year. My favorite YouTuber also said she really loved it. I keep saying that, but honestly, anything she posts, I trust her judgment. Oh, it has a map. There's a map in the front. That's really cool. I love books with maps because you can follow along with them. It's really cool to see what parts of the land they're on and what parts they travel to as the book goes on. I know, of course, it involves dragons, dragon trainers, flying on dragons. There's literally dragons all over the book. Here, and here. This is definitely a book I'm very much anticipating to read this year, and I'm hoping I can for sure get to it because I'm still very intimidated to read it. Either way, these books are definitely finally on my radar because I want to know the hype, and I keep hearing stuff about it, and I want to just know what everyone's talking about. Surprisingly, I haven't been spoiled by anything because none of this is on my timeline right now with any of my social media, so that's pretty good. I'll probably start looking for opinions and stuff once I start reading it, but my sister loved it and she keeps recommending it, so I'm for sure going to read it this year. For Fourth Wing, I put Fourth Wing books on there instead of Fourth Wing because I don't want to put the second one in there by itself once again. But this is the very last book I'm going to be throwing into the jar. Guys, the jar is literally so full now compared to how we started. It is officially done. That is my entire TBR, every single book that I own that I have not read yet. It's so long. Like I said, I know I will for sure reach for the books that are in this video more than the books that I showed in part 1, but you never know. I've also mentioned that I have officially decided to make a TBR video, so I might do a video where I pick a book from the jar and just read it. Like I said in the first one, hopefully this will help me get through my TBR because it's so long I need to stop buying books. Will that stop me from buying books? I doubt it. My mom's literally in here and she's watching me. I don't like when people watch me film. Anyway, that is officially the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and please let me know what you think about the books that are in either video, this one and the last one, because I've never read any of them and I can't wait to hear you guys' opinions. Subscribe and comment down below if you want to, and I'll see you guys in my next video.